So now I want to click right here. Before it directs me, I wanted to add to the database, I want to add it in the search history. If you go back to the database, we have this search right here. We can rename it to search history so you can understand it more, which is an array that we're going to store all the history of our search, okay? So maybe we can go back to the models, then user. We have the search right here, okay? Search history. Yeah, maybe just can leave it, okay? I don't want to have 2h, okay? So let me just leave it. So it's called search. It has the attribute user, which is going to be just the ID of that user. Also, we can have another one. Let me just add this right here. Let's call it created at, because we need the date. The date is very important, so we can, show the newest to the oldest, okay? So the type is going to be date, like that, and it's going to be also required. True, and this is also should be required, like that. So now maybe we can go back to the, let me close the mouse, close this, go back to the routes, and then in the user, after this one, okay, now we're just gonna pass it in the body. This is gonna be add to search history. Okay, let me have the function right here. It's gonna be a put request because we want to update. Let me add this right here. Go back here and then go to the end. Let me copy that. Change the name right here, and then just remove everything in the try. And first of all, we're gonna send in the body the search or the user ID. So just simply gonna send the user ID, that's all. So I don't know, let's call it, I don't know what you want me to call it. I don't know, like search user. Okay, which is gonna be from request.body. And then we can get that user. So const, let's call it user. Await, then user, just find by ID, and it's gonna be the search user, okay, like that. And then not this one, sorry, we're gonna get our user, okay? I wanna get my user and then go to the search of my user and then look there if I have the search user there, okay? So that's what I'm trying to do, sorry, request.user.id, and then simply you can have a check, and then we simply gonna go to the user and then go to the search and then use find. We've done this before. Then we can call this x, and then we call this user. It's an object ID, so we wanna convert it to string. Equal the search user. If it does equal it, so this means search is not gonna be null or something. That means it exists. That means there is already existing there. So when it's already exists, we're not gonna remove it or anything. We just wanna update the date. Okay, so if it already exists, we wanna update the date. So because when we sort it, we get it by the date. That means it's gonna go up and it's gonna be showing in the beginning. Okay, else we're just gonna add it. And to add it, we can simply use, I don't know, await user find by ID and then an update, and it's gonna be our user. So the request.user.id. Okay, and what I want to update, we can use just push, just an array. So we can use push and just, you know what, let me add it like an object. So search, you can do that like that. It's also possible. So you can go right here, and then we have two properties that I want to define. If we go back to the user, not here, for the models, we have two properties you want to define for the search object. We have the user and the created at. So right here, we can just define the user, which is going to be the search user, and also want to define the created at, which is going to be new date, like that. So you can push right here the search. So everything right here is fine, but for the check when it does exist, we just want to update the date. So we can use await and then user, then we're going to use update one. The reason I'm using update one, because you're going to define what you want to update exactly. So first of all, I want to select the user, so we can select the user, which is going to be the request.user.id, so the user logged in. Okay, that's the first thing. So that's going to be the underscore ID, we're going to define which attribute exactly, because we're using update one, not updates by ID. So that's the underscore ID, which is going to be request.user.id. But that's the first thing. I want to like specify the exact element from the exact search array. So I can go to the search dot underscore ID, Okay, I can define that also, which is gonna be the check._id, because it's the one that's already exists. I want to search for it. Okay, inside the array search by the _id, I want to search for it by the id, which is gonna be check._id, because we already found it. It does exist. That's all. It's actually pretty simple. Okay, so I can go now to the second parameter. I can change what attributes I want to change for that. For this element that we found, what I want to change. So I want to use the set, and that means I can set whatever I want inside that. So I'm gonna go to the search, and then we're gonna go exactly to the created at. Okay, use that to define like the attribute, which is gonna be created at, and that's what I want to update. And I want to update it to the new date. Sorry, like that, and save. Okay, so this is actually not gonna be like that. This way, okay, that's fine. I don't have my notes in front of me, so sometimes I forget, so that's normal. Okay, you don't have to remember everything. So as you see, we go to use update one, and then we can look for the user, and then we can look for it in the array of search, and then we set the search those created at for the search ID that we found with the new date. So I can open this, and let me go for my user right here, which is me. So let me refresh. Okay, nothing in the search, so I can go back right here and click on Elon Musk. Okay, we didn't work on the function yet. Okay, we just done it in the back, and then magically it's gonna work. Like, I'm actually sometimes so dumb. So let me go back to the front end. Let me close right here, and then go back to the functions. Let me go to the user. Let me create this function. It's called, let me just get the name. Add the search history, and then add it right here. We're not gonna pass this right here, okay? So we're gonna pass the search user, if I remember. Search user, and we're gonna pass it in the body. Okay, it's gonna be a put request. Like that, okay? Search user, and then we're gonna send the token. So now if I go back to the search menu, I can go actually on the link itself and add on click. You can have a function like let's call it add to history, add to history, to search history handler. That's such a long name, okay? I don't even if I wrote it right. So const, so I'm gonna say function. Alright, here we're just gonna call the function, which is called add to search history from the functions user. We're gonna pass the search user. So right here we need to pass it, okay? So right here we're gonna pass it from the user. So it's gonna be the user dot underscore ID, like that. So that's the search user. And then we can pass it right here. Also need to pass the token, and everything is fine. So maybe we can get the response, because if everything went alright, so response like that, we can use a wait, because when everything is fine, then I want to add it to the beginning of the array. So it's going to be like some changes first. Let me just see for now. So I can go right here, and let me search like for Elon Musk, and now click on it. Okay, so that's gonna take us to his profile. I can go back now to the database, refresh. So this is my profile. I can go to the search, and I have a new object, which is gonna be for the ID of the user Elon Musk. I can search for Crosswalk and click on it, refresh, and as you see in the search, I'm gonna have another one. Okay, and now let me just focus on the date right here. Focus on it. It's gonna change. So let me click again, and that's gonna change it. Okay. So it's actually it's gonna say the same minutes, but it changed in like the second. So I click again, and now let me refresh. I can go back to the search and change. So second 29, that means it changed. So everything is fine. So everything is working, and maybe now we can work on function that's gonna get us all the search history, and we can show it right here, and then that's gonna, when you click, and we're gonna see the difference actually